Okay, let's go with grammar class 19. Okay, congratulations for making it up to the 19th lesson. We're going to discuss structures in this lesson. So we're going to go through all the structures that you can see in English. We're going to remember some of the rules, some of the grammar rules, and we're going to see some uses and some pieces of information that I think you will find it very valuable, right? Okay, here we have the continuous tenses. In the continuous tenses and the continuous structures, we use the auxiliary to be in its different forms, right? And another verb with ing form. The continuous present is used with am, is, are. Yeah, like I am working, he is working, they are working. Continuous past is with was or were, depending on if you have plurals or singulars. And the continuous future will use will be for everybody, ended with an ing form verb. Here we have some examples of each one of the structures. You can see the continuous present. You can say I am attending to class. The negative form is I am not attending to class, or you can say I'm not attending to class. The continuous present for the third person is he is attending to class, or he is not attending to class, or you can make it short by saying he isn't attending to class. In the continuous past, you can say I was attending to class, or I was not attending to class, I wasn't attending to class. In the plural form, they were attending to class, like they were not attending to class, they weren't attending to class. In the continuous future, what you say is I will be attending to class, or she will be attending to class, and the negative form for everybody is I will not be attending to class, or I won't be attending to class. That's the way you work continuous structures. I hope you remember the rules, right, and all the aspects involved. Sometimes when you're working with ing verbs, you can see that they have to eliminate some letters. So I'll tell you how you do this, right? You have to eliminate the silent E at the end of the verb. That's the only thing you eliminate. That's the only thing you change. For example, in the verb take, you have a silent E. Well, you eliminate that E and you change it for the ing form of the verb, and you have taking, right? That's the only change you have to do with ing verbs, no more than that. Sometimes you can see that the last letter of the last letter of the word or the verb is doubled when you have the ing form, right? How do you do that, or why do you do this? Well, you do this to avoid a change in the pronunciation of the word, and this happens when you have a vowel and a letter at the end of the verb. Vowel and letter. For example, the verb tan. Tan is the verb broncear in Spanish, tan. And if you're going to say bronceando, well, you have to do tanning. So in order to keep the right pronunciation, the spelling in this word, you double the N. If you have only one N, the sound will change and this word will read tanning. And that's a very different word. But with the double N, you have tanning. So this is the case when you have to double the letters at the end of the word. Here are some other examples where this applies. It applies to the verbs that end with ed. You have to double the letter in verbs that end with ed if the the pronunciation might change, or comparatives with ER. Remember, big, bigger with double G. Superlatives, big, biggest, double G too. And the subjects when they're named by their occupations also. So basically with every suffix that you find, you're gonna have to do this. Double the last letter when you're going to add a suffix, if you don't want the pronunciation of the word. Now let's go with the simple structures. The simple structures use the auxiliary do. And in the simple present you have do and does for the third person. In the simple past you have did, but also you have to remember in the simple past if you have regular or irregular verbs, right? In the simple future, well, it's really simple. Will and the verb, and it's natural. We have some examples of that. In the simple present you say I attend to class, or I do not attend to class, or don't. And the third person, he attends to class, with the third person form of the verb. In the negative you say he does not attend to class, or he doesn't attend to class. The verb remains in a natural form. In the simple past you have regular verbs like I attended to class. In the negative form you say I did not attend to class, or I didn't attend to class. In the simple past for irregular verbs, for example the verb eat, which is eat, ate, eaten, you say I ate in the class with its past form. But in the negative you say I did not eat in the class. Basically because you have the auxiliary did in the sentence, which is already announcing that you are in the past tense, so you don't need to repeat that in the verb. In the simple future you say I will attend to class, or I will not attend to class, or won't. And this is basically for everybody. Now if you're working with third person verbs, these are some indications that will help you. If you're working with verbs that end with s, double s, sh, zh, x, or z, like dress, like wish, like watch, you have to add es. So for the third person it will be dresses, wishes, or watches. The meaning here, the objective here, is to add that extra s to the pronunciation, so you know that you're in a third person form, right? If you have verbs that end with o, like do or go, you add es too, so you have oes, and that's why you say does or you say goes. If you have a verb that has a consonant and a y, like party, the verb, you change the y for ies and you have parties. Like I party all night, and he parties all night. Same thing with fly. I fly, he flies, right? ies. And this is the way to modify verbs for the third persons. Normally it's an s, but in these cases these are the rules. Now, other structures that may express tenses. Used to it's a structure that can help you express some tenses. You can express normal habits, like I used to walk 20 minutes a day. Used to is the verb soler in Spanish, which a good way to translate in Spanish this sentence is yo suelo caminar. Of course you can use it in the past. I used to walk 20 minutes every day. Yo solía caminar. So that's a good structure you can use there. Another expression is the expression be going to. Be going to is voy a in the present, which is I am going to walk 20 minutes tomorrow. And of course, this talks about the future. Yo voy a caminar. Or you can use it in the past for failed actions. I was going to walk. Yo iba a caminar. Normally, when you say I was going to walk, it's because you didn't walk. Something happened. So you had to change the plan. I was going to walk, but it started to rain, so I didn't. And there's another expression here, be about to, which means estar a punto de. Now, if you use it in the present, I am about to leave, you're saying estoy a punto de salir. Something that hasn't happened yet, but it's going to happen very soon. Now, you can use it in the past to express I was about to leave. Yo estaba a punto de salir. So it didn't happen. Okay, those are expressions you may use there. Let's go with the perfect structures. When you say perfect, you mean the auxiliary have and the past participle. That's what you mean in every case. Perfect means have, which in Spanish is the verb haber. Right? You use it in the present perfect. You use have or has to say yo he, tú has, él ha. In the perfect past, you use had, because it's había or habían if you have plurals. In the perfect future, it's will have, which is habrá or habrán, depending on the person you're using. And in every case, you use the verb in the past participle form, which in Spanish is hado ido. Yo he trabajado, yo había trabajado, yo habré trabajado, yo he comido, yo he llevado, yo he dormido. Hado ido, which is Spanish, right? In the past participle is the third column that you are learning in the verbs. That's the form that you have to use. So let's see, because in the perfect present you may say something like this. I have attended to class. Yo he asistido. Or for the third person, he has attended to class. Él ha atendido, right? That's what you have. Negative form, I have not attended to class, or I haven't, or he has not attended to class, he hasn't, in the short form. When you say I haven't, you're saying yo no he. Do not confuse I haven't with I don't have, because I don't have is yo no tengo, right? So I don't have is different than I haven't. It's different from I haven't. Not the same. Don't confuse it. In the perfect past, I had attended to class. Yo había asistido. In the negative form, I had not or I hadn't attended to class. In the future, I will have attended. Yo habré asistido. Or I will not have attended, or I won't have attended. Right? These are some good complements for those expressions with the verb have. They're good. You can say I have lived here since 1975, or I have lived here for 20 years. I have been there many times. I have traveled lots of times. I have been here several times. I have seen that person a couple of times. A couple of times means 1 or 2 or 3 times. Technically, a couple is 2, right? I have been there once in my lifetime, or I have never been there. As you can see, these words are very good to connect with have or had, even will have, right? And there is another, like a cousin for the perfect structures, which is the perfect continuous. It's the same thing. It's the auxiliary to have, haber in Spanish, and the past participle been, sido or estado, right? Yo he sido, yo he estado. Yo había sido, yo había estado. Yo habré sido, yo habré estado. This is what you're saying, right? And also another verb in the ing form. Yo he estado trabajando, right? You got it? Ing, ando, right? You got it? It's the same thing. So what you have in the perfect present is I have been attending to class. Yo he estado asistiendo, right? Or I have not been attending to class. In the perfect past, I had been attending. Yo había estado atendiendo. In the perfect future, I will have been attending to class. Yo habré estado atendiendo. Frankly, the perfect future, it exists, but I have never used it in my life. Only for these classes, not in a real conversation. Anyway, it exists. Let's go with the modal structures. You have the modal verbs, which are 7: can, may, and might, should and must, would and could. Maybe you remember the basic classes, and I'll refresh that information by saying that can is puede, may is puede. Difference here is can, it's you can because you're capable. It's puede por capacidad. May, it's puede for permission. Puede por permiso o autorización, right? That's the difference. You know that from the basic course. Might, puede que. Should, debería, like a suggestion. Must, debe, like a inner obligation, something internal from your conscience. Would is ia for verbs in Spanish. For example, would buy, compraría. Would go, iría. Would fly, volaría. And could is podría, which are used in the second conditional structures, right? You can say I can attend to class. Yo puedo asistir a clase. I may attend to class. Yo puedo asistir a clase, which means that you have permission. I might attend to class. Puede que atienda a clase, which means you have possibility. I should attend to class. Yo debería atender a clase. I must attend to class. Yo debo atender a clase, which is an obligation, right? Your conscience tells you. I would attend to class. Yo atendería a clase, which is a conditional, right? If, then comes a condition. I could attend to class. Yo podría atender a clase if something happens, right? Negative forms are very simple. I can't, I may not, I might not or mightn't, I shouldn't, I mustn't, I wouldn't, and I couldn't. Check out the pronunciation. Should, would, could. I hope you repeat that. Should, would, and could. That's right pronunciation of those words. These are some expressions that have the same function to some modal verbs. For example, similar to should, you can say ought to, which is something that's not very much used, but it's a synonym of should. The translation is the same. If you say I should go, you can also say I ought to go. or sometimes you hear it like I ought to go. Not very common in modern English. Sometimes you can hear that in the movies. Maybe you can find that in the literature. I had better, which is yo hubiera, mejor hubiera, right? Or let's is very, very useful. Let's means mos. For example, let's go, vamos. Let's eat, comamos. Let's travel, viajemos, right? And that's very useful because you can express a suggestion like let's leave the city. It's a suggestion, it's a plan. I am putting something out there for you to consider. Same thing as the question, why don't, por qué no, right? That's a good question to propose an idea. Why don't we travel this weekend, right? It's a good way to propose an idea. Okay, and similar to must, because it's a way you can express obligations, it's have to or have got to, which in Spanish is tengo que. Both are the same thing. I find really no difference. I have to go, or I have got to go. I've got to go. I've got to pick something in dry cleaners. I have to buy another car. Those are obligations, right? Tengo que, which are similar to must. The difference is that must is it's a internal obligation, while have to, it's like an external obligation. But you know, yo debo, yo tengo que. Very similar. What else? What do we have here? Oh, we have finished. Great. Now you have a test, and I wish you the best of lucks with your test. So, yeah, I'll talk to you later.